Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Capital City Baptist Church. What a privilege it is to be able to serve here today again and be able to share with you the thoughts that the Lord has put on my heart. So, several years ago, I was serving in a church that had the custom of getting together with other like minded churches for a men's retreat in the little town called Santanella. For those that have no idea where that is, if you've driven on Interstate 5 headed from Sacramento to Los Angeles, you might have seen a big sign that advertises a restaurant, and I understand it's no longer there or closed down, but it's a restaurant that specializes in pea soup. Now, it's a little over an hour south of us. Anyway, Santanella is one of those places that if you blink too long, you're going to miss it. It is, for the most part, a town that is for travelers to stop for gas, get a bite to eat at any of the fast food restaurants, and then be on your way to wherever your destination is. But just in case you actually do want to stay in that little town or that area, there is a hotel that is frankly pretty large. And that is exactly where our retreat would be. Now, anyway, after noticing the first time that the congregational music wasn't exactly, up to par, let's put it that way, I decided to throw my 2 cents in and offer to lead the following year, which I did, and very much enjoyed the planning of it, enlisting the help of others for special music, etc. So the first year we did it, it went really well. People were appreciative, good comments overall. That was encouraging. The second year, again, some words of encouragement, appreciation, some good comments. Still couldn't, very much encouraged. Then came the third year. This time, nothing. No words of appreciation, no comments at all. Okay, we're doing this for the Lord anyway, and to further his kingdom, right? It's all good. But then a brother started walking towards our group and then came directly to me. This was at the end of the service, as I was just finishing up a conversation with someone on my praise team. And of course, I always greet people, greeted him cordially, to which his only reply to me was, "Your music is too loud." And then he walked away. I think we can all agree that there is a right way and a wrong way to correct a situation. But clearly, the problem here was much deeper and speaks volumes of where oftentimes parishioners or churchgoers are with their relationship with each other and especially with their church leaders. Galatians 6:2 orders us in no uncertain terms to carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ. John 13:34 also orders us, again, in no uncertain terms to love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another. And finally, in Philippians 2:4, let each of you look not only to his own interests, but also to the interests of others. Well, to finish my story, I did thank the brother for his comment and did in fact notice that the volume on the speaker to the keyboard was a bit too loud. So I turned it down. And there were no more issues after that. But to be really honest with you, my excitement and enthusiasm for the rest of the conference was pretty much zapped, at least for the rest of the day. Though I did everything I could to pep talk myself and refocus my attention on what matters, the manner in which I was approached and spoken did hurt. It was not encouraging. It was discouraging. It spoke not of appreciation, but frankly the opposite of that. Now, see, some of you might be thinking, well, you were just being overly sensitive. Just move on. No big deal. I disagree. And I might step onto some toes at this point. You know that those who labor in pastoral ministry, in other words, those who truly labor in pastoral ministries, often lead some very lonely and guarded lives. Some time ago, I spent some time with a friend of mine, who was also serving in his church for several years now. He has been, and he shared with me, without naming anybody, of course, some very sad things that he's also had to deal with some of his parishioners who feel fully able and thinking that their presence and tithe gives them license to belittle the pastor, insult him to his face, expect him to do everything, and withhold their tithes when things are not done as they want. Can you imagine for a moment how embarrassed and ashamed those people will be when they are called into the presence of the Lord to answer for the way that they treated their pastor. And come to think of it, in my own time, I personally have witnessed people who led Bible studies, carried important positions in church, and these same people use their mouths using foul language to insult the pastor because they felt entitled to. Have we forgotten, brothers and sisters, that the burden these men carry is great and is never a 9 to 5? These are the men who have been called by God to minister to our souls. So, what is the point of all this? Where am I going? Simple. I am urging all of us to treat our pastors and church leaders with respect and pray for them daily, that the Lord strengthen them. Encourage them with kind and encouraging words. Text them a thought. Tell them, I'm praying for you. I appreciate you. I'm grateful for you. Do you like getting recognized at work? But how about by your friends or by your family? Well, brothers and sisters, do the same to those who minister to your soul. Is there something that needs correction? Address it with kindness, not judgment. And please, please never allow yourself to be a member of a gossip group whose only intent is to hurt and divide. Brothers and sisters, I encourage you to encourage, because when you do that, surprise, you get encouraged too. Are these hard words? I think so. But am I personally discouraged? No, not at all. My church family has been beautiful and wonderful to me. But I also know that the enemy is constantly looking for ways to discourage and divide the people, God's people. I'm going to conclude with this. May I encourage you to decide here and now to be an encourager for 2024 and thereafter. Use your ability of speaking to encourage your church leaders and your fellow congregants. And use part of your prayer time to lift up those who minister to your souls. Thank you so much for listening. May you have a wonderful weekend. God bless you. Thank you for listening again. And I look forward to seeing you on Sunday if the Lord wills.